Hey guys, welcome back to another music review. And well, I'm trying to crank out some more music reviews. Movie reviews are a little bit harder lately because I just haven't found anything I really want to watch. So I've started watching The Zoo again because the third season just started. I think I missed the first episode, but hopefully I can just get caught back up on it. What happened from the second episode? I may just start next time and watch it, and I should be okay because usually the first episode is just kind of introducing what it's going to be because the first episode is probably pretty good, but I may just have to miss it and record it, or I can just go through the two seasons and watch what I can, and maybe I'll catch a rerun of the first episode. I don't know. Or maybe I can catch the first episode somewhere else. Um, I don't know. It's a really good show though, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm gonna start watching that again. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about music. We're here to talk about some great bands. Well, we'll get to that in a moment. But the first thing I want to do is I want to bring something up on my phone, and we'll make sure we. It's not something I'm going to do all the time, but it's kind of interesting since I do have a phone now. I can do this. Um, Tell me about the Polar Bear Band. That's not it. That's not it. I did this a couple times today. Well, that is a band, but that's not what we're talking about today. Tell me about the Polar Bear Club Band. It knew what I was going to say. Like, it was trying to. Okay. All right, so let's just kick that up for a moment because that's the first band we're going to talk about. The Polar Bear Club is a band. Now let me see what genre they call them. They call them American post-hardcore. So post-hardcore to me, I guess, is um, just the regular punk stuff you hear today. So I don't know. Like, I guess I call it alt punk. It's what these guys are. I will say this about this band, and like I said, I'm not going to really dive into too many details about these two bands I'm going to talk about. They pretty much tell themselves. But the vocalist in Polar Bear Club is Jimmy Stat, Stadt. That's the vocalist. That's really all I'm going to tell you. Um, they're not really popular. I don't think they're that popular. Seems to me they're not that popular. And it says was, so they're on hiatus right now. But if you look in the record label sections, there are 5 record labels. They've released 4 albums, and I'm pretty sure the reason why is because they're getting ready to release a new album. Because there was a song that was on YouTube. I believe it was uploaded probably within the week or month, last month or so. So I think they're getting ready to release another album. I think they're back together. But on the Wikipedia page, it says they're on hiatus in 2014. So evidently they got back together. There may have been some lineup changes. I don't know. Wikipedia is probably not all up to date on that, but could be a new singer. It sounds like the same singer to me. Has the same sound. But the guy singing kind of has like kind of a raspy voice, a little bit. He's kind of got that tinge of a raspy voice, but he also sings like a lot of the alt punk bands that are around today, and most of them. They all kind of have that one sound, and you know what I'm talking about. And if you're a punk fan and you're like, no, they don't all sound like, whatever. They all sound the same. They all kind of got that one sound, and they may all have like somewhat differences in them, but they all have that one sound. Like, and if you don't like that kind of sound, you're not gonna like alt punk. And I'm not really into alt punk too much. Like, there's a few bands I like, and it's just because their lyrics are really, really good. And I don't consider really like Fall Out Boy alt punk, but you can hear. Well, I mean, I do consider them kind of alternative punk music because they are kind of like the pop punk, but they're more pop punk, which sometimes pop punk is kind of better than alt punk because I think in order for, and that's just this, these are just my terms. Like, you guys probably call it something different, but in my mind, alt punk is like before you become pop punk. It's way confusing, but that's what I call the bands. Like Fall Out Boy, I call them pop punk. Um, Watchdigger was pop punk, but they've kind of emerged into like a rock band sort of now because they're not really punkish really anymore. Um, what's their name? Panic at the Disco. There we go. because they kind of started as that kind of, but then they kind of moved into like a rock kind of a band. So I don't really consider them pop punk anymore. But these guys truly are like the epitome of what I call alt punk. But like I said, the guy's voice is kind of different. Some of their songs are kind of good. I like them a little bit. But this is a band, like if you're into that kind of stuff, Polar Bear Club, check them out. They they literally have like every album's been on a different label. I don't know what that means. I'm not gonna trash them for it. Maybe they just didn't sell very much and the record labels didn't want them on a label. I have no idea. No idea. I mean, with a name like Polar Bear Club, I can't really say anything about that because there's some weird names out there. But yeah, there's not really much to say. They formed in 2005. Um, uh, and they've had a little bit of lineup changes, but not really that much. That's all I can really say about that. Um, tons of videos on YouTube you can check out. I don't know if they're on Spotify. This is actually a YouTube search find, which I don't do that too often, but sometimes I'm like, if I'm able to do it and I can get a lot of decent songs off of YouTube, I'll do it. I'll do it through YouTube, and I'll just find bands. It's easier that way. So I can sit on my couch. I don't have to get the computer out and do stuff with Spotify. So if I can do it, I'll do it on there. Especially if somebody contacts me and says, "Hey, check out this whatever band, song, whatever," then I'll check it out. There's also someone I'm going to be checking out soon, um, and letting you guys know about him or them. I don't know if it's a girl or a guy. I don't know. Somebody contacted me, so I'll let you guys know about that. Because I mean, I'll check out any band if you guys want me to. Anyways, Polar Bear Club, decent alt band. Check them out if you like that kind of music. Like I said, it's not really my cup of tea, but there was a couple songs that weren't too bad. Um, I can't remember the name of the song. I think it was like something in a parking lot. That was a decent song, I think. I know I really didn't like. There's some called "Killing It." Didn't really like it. "Waiting Room." Didn't like that. There's some other songs I was like, meh, meh, meh. But there was really some. I think actually "Killing It" was actually not bad. There was another song I liked though. I can't remember the name of the song though. Anyways, band number two in the music review. Of course, I do it in two bands in each review. Black Flag. And I know a lot of people out there are like probably wondering, why are you putting Black Flag with this band? Well, I'm kind of wanting to start to kind of switch it up and put maybe two different bands, maybe not in the same genre, just kind of throw them in together. Because I think it's getting kind of boring, and I hate trying to find bands to match up with another band. And I think I'm just going to say screw it and start putting like Taylor Swift and like Cradle of Filth in the same video. I don't think it matters anymore. I'm getting to that point where I want to start shaking things up on the channel and start getting people to check out my channel in a different way. So I may start incorporating some country stars in here, as well as some like death metal, and just kind of throwing stuff in there, trying to get people to check out the channel and things like that. So be prepared for that. It's going to happen. But anyway, Polar Bear Club, definitely a great band to check out. But Black Flag, let's talk about Black Flag. Holy crap. This band, um, I haven't heard a lot. I listened to a little bit a few minutes ago, and I've heard them before, or I've heard bands like them before. Um, Here's my thing. I enjoy these bands better than I do the alt punk bands, just because there's a lot more intensity there. And with Black Flag, I actually can understand what they're saying, so that's a plus. Um, and I mean, I'm a metal fan, but punk is a different story. Like, it sounds better when you can actually hear some of the lyrics being said, and with punk. With metal, it doesn't matter because, for the most part, that the music is the part you're listening to for the most part anyway. If it's like death metal and stuff. But punk is kind of a different story because it's just like a ding 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 ding, and there's music over top of it. It's basically what it is. If I offend somebody, I'm sorry. But the hardcore kind of bands, that's what Black Flag is. And they called, what did they call? Hold on a second, because I wanted, they said this is a post-hardcore band. Tell me about Black Flag Band, because they called it something. I don't know what they called it. This is American punk rock band form. Could swear they called them American post hardcore too. What do they call it? Post hard. It says post hardcore. Okay, let me tell you this right now. Polar Bear Club are not post-hardcore. I don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, Black Flag is not a post-hardcore band. I don't know what they're talking about. Um, I don't know. It's weird. I hear things about Black Flag. When I was reading the thing, they may have some songs like that, but what I heard was a lot of like hardcore stuff and things like that. But I guess their style is pretty across the board. So, I mean, what I heard, I think is pretty interesting. But you have to, the thing about punk bands is I think there's somewhat of a loyalty with punk bands, and once you start listening to bands, I think that and it's more so, I think, if they're from your area and you get into listening to them. I think that's another thing too. If they're from your area, like they're from New York, um, Black Flag, I believe. They're originally, are they from New York? No, they're from California. Uh, Porterbury Club is from New York. Yeah, that's what it is. They're from like Hermosa Beach, California. I got kind of blurry there for a second. Um, but yeah, Black Flag is more of a hardcore band, but it said they did stray at times, but all I heard on YouTube was like hardcore. That's why when I read their Wikipedia page, I was like, I didn't really hear anything like that. But at times, I guess they kind of did stray, and they did do other um, they kind of what did it say here? It said something. I'm gonna make sure to move that away because I've dropped things before. It said, what did it say down here? Da, 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 da. I'm reading something. Reading Wikipedia. So it says um, they were one of the earliest punk rock groups to incorporate elements and influence of heavy metal melodies and rhythm. They were often overt styles, free jazz, breakbeat, and contemporary classical elements in their sound, especially in the guitarist player. There was instrumentals as well, longer, slower, and more complex songs. At a time when people that was in their kind of peers were doing 3 chord formats and things like that. So their discography is a little bit wide range. I kind of took a lot from the Wikipedia page, just so I'm saying I did quote them a little bit. So yeah, I will say this: when you read things from a Wikipedia page, you have to take it with a grain of salt because most of the time they are right for the most part. But some things you read on there, you're like, okay, whatever. Because I remember reading about some other bands in the past I've reviewed, and I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. Especially about, well, I mean, wrestling is pretty like kind of crazy out there because you can put anything in there, and people would probably go, oh yeah, that's true. And I have a bump on the bottom of my can. It's really annoying. Okay, so yeah, Black Flag, good hardcore band. I don't know about the other stuff. I haven't really heard it. I'm assuming it's pretty good too. Like I said, if you like the hardcore stuff and you seem to respect that band, you would probably like the other stuff, giving them a chance and hearing that cool stuff. With that being said, both these bands, pretty average to say. I'm not a huge punk fan, but I did want to kind of I do like to throw them in every once in a while because I like different kinds of music. I do like different kinds of music, and I give people a chance. I give the bands a chance. I listen to them. They're not my cup of tea. I move on, and I probably won't listen to them again unless they come out with a new song and maybe they got a good song that's kind of strays from what they normally do. Um, there's been times in the past where I bought albums for one song. I get the song, or I get the album CD, whatever you want to call it, and it was horrible. Like the one song was the only song I liked on the whole entire album, and I hate those albums because when a band does that and they release the one song that everybody likes, it's annoying. That's why I kind of like the digital age in a way, because that's one reason, is that if someone does that, you can download the album or listen to the album a little bit online and see if you really want to buy the CD. I do kind of, I guess this is a topic for another day, but I think physical media has kind of got that little aspect in that you don't know if the things are going to go away. And the problem with that is if you have a physical copy, you'll always have a copy of that. If, you know, uh, like I said, I can't say the word. No, it was. It kept on saying I was saying claw. I don't know. Polar. Bear Club. That is really hard to say fast. Let me tell you that. But yeah, Physical. If Polar Bear Club had one hit single, and you go to buy their album, and you buy the album, and the one song is the only one you liked, I'd be mad. I'd be irritated, and I would be directly taking it back to somewhere and pawning it off or trading it in for something else, and probably losing, $5, $6, $7 on the deal, and being very angry. But in today's world, it's kind of cool because I can go, okay, well, I'm going to listen to a few on Spotify, and I'm going to go listen to it. And I listen to it, and maybe I catch like one other song that I sort of like. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to download these two songs. So instead, I pay, about 250 and get those two songs, or $2 and get those two songs wherever I'm at. Because usually it's like $1 a song, for the most part, most websites or whatever. Anyway, yeah. So you get a, excuse me. So you get that. So that's a better thing than nowadays. So these two bands are pretty much like those bands, like the bands that today's world you're probably going to listen to online and see which albums you want to buy, and then you go out and buy them. Um, and I'm kind of going to start doing this. Like, are these bands worth your time to buy the physical CD? These bands, like I said, you would probably want to listen to online, see if you like them before you buy an album, and that's what I would admit. These bands are pretty decent. Like I said, if you like the punk genre, these bands are definitely bands you want to check out. I will say this, for being an alt punk band and the bands I normally do not care for, Polar Bear Club is actually a pretty good band. Now, surprisingly, evidently they're not hitting it big. They're not making a huge name for themselves because they've been on different labels every single time. So evidently they're having issues. But maybe they're just waiting to hit that one album that's going to make them big. But they've been around for a long time, so for like probably about they've been around for around 10 years. They were formed I think in 2005. It said I think. So I mean they've been around for 12 years or so. So I mean that doesn't say much because there's a lot of bands they'll go for. This is a long video. I did not think it was going to be this long. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to end it since it went so long. I really didn't think I was going to be able to talk about these two bands for that long, but sometimes it surprises me. I get talking about certain things, and I can actually make a decent video out of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hope you guys like everything I'm doing currently. Kind of scatterbrain, throwing the videos out there at you guys. So like I said, leave a comment down below which videos you're enjoying, which ones you aren't, and all that good stuff. And leave me ideas about who you want me to review, movies you want me to watch, things like that. If I can find them, I'll watch them. If I can't find them on Netflix or something free or something like that, and I don't want no viruses, so don't be sending me no weird websites. Anyways, and if you have bands or whatever you want me to check out, local, whatever, I don't care. I'll listen to them. I'll review them. Anyways, have fun. Keep rocking. Keep on listening to music. Later, guys.